Hello, and welcome to the Soul Rest. Take a slow breath, let your shoulders relax, and allow your mind to settle for a moment. Life can sometimes feel heavy. Plans fall apart, things we believed would last forever quietly disappear. And in those moments, we are often left with one difficult question. How do you begin again? Tonight's reflection is about something that rarely gets talked about. Not loud bravery, not heroic victories, but something quieter, something deeper. The quiet courage of starting again. Most people believe that life moves in a straight line. You study, you build a career, you fall in love, you create a future, and slowly, step by step, everything improves. But life rarely moves like that. Sometimes it turns suddenly. A relationship ends, a dream collapses, a job disappears, or the life you carefully built simply no longer feels like it belongs to you. And in that moment, it can feel like everything has been erased. The plans, the identity, the direction. Many people experience this moment at least once in their lives, sometimes more than once. And when it happens, the world feels strangely quiet. Not because life has stopped, but because the future you imagined is no longer there. Starting again is not only about change, it is also about loss. There is a kind of grief that people rarely talk about. The grief of the life that almost happened. The future that you believed in. The version of yourself you thought you would become. No one prepares us for that feeling. Because society celebrates success stories. People love the moment when someone finally wins. But they rarely talk about the long, quiet seasons in between. The seasons when nothing feels certain. When you are rebuilding yourself in silence. And during those moments, you may feel like you are the only one struggling. But the truth is, almost every strong person you admire has lived through this stage. A stage where they had to begin again. Without applause, without recognition, just quiet determination. Starting again is difficult for one simple reason. It forces you to let go of the story you told yourself about your life. We all carry stories inside our minds. Stories about who we are, stories about where we are going, stories about what our life should look like. And when reality changes those stories, our mind resists. It asks questions like, why did this happen? Why me? What did I do wrong? But life rarely gives perfect answers. Sometimes things simply end. Sometimes people leave. Sometimes a path that once felt right slowly stops making sense. And when that happens, the hardest step is not moving forward. The hardest step is accepting that a new beginning is necessary. When people think about courage, they imagine dramatic moments. Standing in front of a crowd, taking a big risk, doing something bold. But the courage to start again is different. It is quiet. It is invisible. It looks like waking up on a difficult morning and continuing anyway. It looks like rebuilding your life piece by piece. It looks like believing that your story is not finished yet, even when the world feels uncertain. And sometimes the bravest thing a person can do is simply say, I will begin again. Something interesting happens when people start over. At first, it feels like failure, but slowly, something begins to change. You start to see things more clearly. You realize that some paths you were chasing were never truly yours. Some expectations were not yours either. They belonged to other people, to society, to the version of yourself that existed years ago. Starting again removes those layers. It forces you to ask a deeper question. What kind of life do I truly want? And sometimes, the life you build after everything falls apart becomes the most authentic life you have ever lived. Many people believe that life has only one chance, one dream, one path. But that is not true. Life is full of beginnings. Some happen when we are young. Others happen much later. People start new careers at 40, discover new passions at 50, find peace after decades of struggle. Human life is not a single straight road. It is a series of chapters. And sometimes the most meaningful chapters begin after the hardest endings. If you are currently in a season of starting over, you may feel uncertain. You may feel tired. You may feel like you are moving slower than everyone else. But there is something important to remember. Starting again requires strength. More strength than simply continuing a comfortable path. It requires humility, patience, and a quiet belief that your story still has meaning. That belief may feel small right now, but small beliefs can grow. And one day, when you look back, you may realize something surprising. The moment you thought your life was falling apart was actually the moment a new life quietly began. Life will change many times. Some changes will be joyful, others will be painful. But every ending carries a hidden possibility, the possibility of beginning again. And within that new beginning, there is a quiet courage, not loud, not dramatic, but deeply human. The courage to keep moving, to keep learning, to keep living, even when the path is uncertain. Thank you for spending these moments here with the Soul Rest. If this reflection brought you a sense of calm or clarity, consider subscribing to the channel. This space is here for anyone who needs a quiet moment to think, breathe, and reconnect with life. And remember, sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is simply begin again. Until next time, take care of your mind and give your soul some rest.